those are the complaints I have made to police and Corruption and Crime Commission, DPP, etc., etc. This is an official complaint regarding misconduct, official corruption. I'm a victim of misconduct by the Fremantle Council officers. The officers are 1. Brian Browse, Surveyor, Nina Monaco, Building Inspector, Patrick de Villiers, Managing Planning Department, Ray Clickman, CEO of the City of Fremantle, Jeff Broad, Planning Department. I have in my possession Police Report, Ombudsman's Report, Standing Committee on Public Administration Report, Local Government Inquiry Report, Strata Referee Report, ABC Radio Report by Richard Utting. Other persons involved in this case are Robert Koch, Crown Law Solicitor and as DPP, George Cash, Minister for Land, Cheryl Edwards, Attorney General in the Richard Court Government. All reports vindicate me, but all those reports only became available after I lost all my court cases. If I would have had all those reports prior to the court cases, I would have never lost my case. I am approaching your office in the hope that you can assist me. However, I have turned to the past. In the past 24 I have been frustrated and ignored. I hope you take my complaint serious.
So that's to the Corruption and Crime Commission in Western Australia, and what was the result?
Oh no, this is also to law access. I've been trying to get a pro bono lawyer. Now this is all about the Corruption and Crime Commission.
So what, have they responded to that letter?
No.
Triple C, have they responded? No.
Yeah, no.
I've reported things to the Triple C.
Anyway.
Judges lying in transcripts, and they haven't done anything, they ignored it. They wrote back to me, and they won't stop.
Yeah. I now like to go to
They're not effective, the Triple C, and they don't properly...
They're incompetent, negligent,
well, you see,
selective.
But the thing is that corruption, people most susceptible to corruption in our society are politicians and judges. And I reported to them in writing that 2 Supreme Court judges in the Court of Appeal lied in judgment transcripts when I was trying to save my brother's life, because the government is murdering my brother. And they won't do anything. So when you report, and as a teacher I've reported over the past decade lots of things to the Triple C, they won't take action, they won't even investigate. So they're totally ineffective, totally ineffective.
I'd like to go now back to Robert Koch. Robert Koch was a Crown Law solicitor who was involved in the fake titles and the fake transfers. I then got the police investigation. The report went to the DPP. In between time, that Crown Law solicitor Robert Koch became the DPP and gets the police report and other reports. And he realised that he had a serious problem. He should have written back to me and said, Mr. de Horst, I have a serious conflict of interest because I was involved in your titles and your transfers. Instead of doing that, he said, insufficient evidence in the police report. The police state there is a prima facie case. Robert Koch said, no, there's no evidence, there's nothing.
And they blacked out the names of the people in the report.
All the reports, yeah.
So there's names in that report.
Yeah, well, not the one that the DPP got. The DPP would have had a clear copy.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway,
the report to Mr. Horst, they blacked
Robert Koch, who was involved in the fake title and fake transfers, refused to act on the police report in desperation. He should have written back to me and say, I got a conflict of interest. He did not do this. I then took my case to the Corruption and Crime Commission. By the way, it was not the Corruption and Crime Commission, it was the Anti-Corruption Commission. There was an OCC, there was an ACC, now we have a CCC. Anyway,
which doesn't do anything.
The Corruption and Crime Commission, I went there in '98. Those are facts and statements out of my diaries. Every time I had dealings with the ACC. On the 24th of the 8th, '98, a request was made to the Commission to investigate my case I presented the Commission with 7 reports, namely Travesty of Justice History, 1987-2007, 93 Ombudsman's Report, 95 ABC Broadcast Transcript, 98 Strata Referee Report, 2001 Local Government Inquiry Report, 2002 Public Administration Committee Report, 2005 Police Investigating Report. On the 11th of the 9th, 1998, I was requested to meet with 2 investigators, a Mr. John Hudson and a Mr. Eric Fletcher at 10 a.m. They told me they had been reading my reports for the past 2 weeks and would now discuss my case with their superiors. The meeting lasted an hour and a quarter. On the 19th of the 9th, 1998, I received a phone call from Mr. Hudson. He asked me for names of people involved. He told me he would interview about 20 people. On the 30th of the 9th, 1998, Mr. Hudson told me I had received support for my case from unexpected quarters. Support for my case from unexpected quarters. He also mentioned a judicial inquiry. On the 5th of the 10th, 1998, Mrs. Logan from the ACC told me, your case has been assessed and the investigation is now in progress. On the 5th of the 10th, 1998, Hudson told me, we have not given up on you, Mr. Horst. On the 6th of the 10th, 1998, spoke to Hudson, re-progress. He told me, don't ring me next week because I'm busy at the Fremantle Council. 14/10/98, 1998, Review Committee meeting, 2:15 on the 6th floor ACC building, 2 advisors only to attend. 15/10/98, I rang Mr. Hudson, re-media release in Western Australian newspaper. I broke down on the phone. Mr. Hudson rang back at 3 p.m. to see if I was all right. He said to me, don't worry, Jan, you have Mr. Hudson on your case. 17th of the 10th, 1998, Mr. Hudson told me, someone else will work on your case while I'm on holidays. He then commented and indicated to me over the phone that my case is too complicated for the CCC, or the ACC. We don't have the experts. We may have to pass the buck, Mr. Hudson said. I am just a simple man, Mr. Horst.
You know what? It's not complicated. It's
If you got the right people.
Well, it's identifiable.
It was simple in the beginning.
Yeah.
It became complicated by all those other people who made it.
Identifiable people.
Yeah.
Taxpayer-funded government workers who are corrupt.
Yeah.
Lying in reports and
yeah,
perverting the course of justice, throwing people in jail.
This is page 2 of content of my diaries. 1911-1998. I rang Mr. Hudson to check up on progress. He told me he will finish this assessment in a couple of weeks. 1/12/1998, Surveyor Kevin McMahon is having a meeting with Mr. Hudson at 4 p.m. Kevin commented to me after the meeting was favourable, and he was very confident about Mr. Hudson, the investigator. 2/12/1998, I received a phone call from Mr. Hudson. He asked me for compaction certificate and Leela engineering report, also real estate documents by Brockway. I supplied all those. 16/12/1998, 10 a.m, Mr. Hudson had a meeting with Fremantle Council Surveyor Brian Browse. Mr. Hudson also told me he had some documents have come into his possession through Barbara Scott, Member of Parliament, Liberal Party, Jim McGinty, MP, Labour, and Crown Law. He also wrote to the Master of the Supreme Court. 4/3/1999, received bad news from the ACC. They're now doing and saying the same as the DPP, insufficient evidence. My comment is that Robert Koch had a very serious conflict of interest. as the DPP because of prior employment with Crown Law Department, where he became involved in court action against me, which resulted in the issue of fake titles and fake transfers whilst I was in prison for an indefinite period.
What's Robert Koch doing now?
Well, he resigned as the DPP, he then became the legal advisor to Mr. Barnett, and he is now in charge as a judge or magistrate for the release of prisoners. People he put in prison, he is now going to be in charge of their release.
Yeah, well, Robert Koch is corrupt, isn't he?
He's corrupt.
He's corrupt as anything.
Yeah.
As a Crown
Crown
prosecutor,
Law prosecutor,
DPP,
and the DPP.
Well, he was in jail, involved in the transfer of documents. Somebody signed it with saying they had your consent. He was in jail when they did that. And then the CCC not even basically saying not enough evidence and all that sort of thing. Well,
Right, I'll continue.
he should have disclosed his conflict of interest,
Well, he became
and he is
involved.
corrupt because he involved in jailing Mr. Horst, and then the next breath he's the DPP.
Because of prior employment with Crown Law Department, where he became involved in court action against me, which resulted in the issue of illegal title and transfer whilst I was in prison for an indefinite period. I repeat it, that's a repeat. H3 1999. Received call from Mr. Hudson, 8:20 AM, telling me he will now deny having told me he had support for my case from unexpected quarters. Somebody got onto him. My opinion is that he has been got at, silenced by his superiors.
The CCC guy, Hutchinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
He's
right.
been silenced by his superiors. He
Yeah.
told me the truth, and I believe he is an honest man. I believe the Commissioner of the ACC, Mr. T.E. O'Connor, QC, is now also part of official cover-up.
So what's his position? He's a QC
He was the Commissioner,
of
the Chairman of the ACC.
Yeah.
T.E. O'Connor, QC, is now also part of official corruption cover-up. 19/5/1999, received letter from T.E. O'Connor, QC, Chairman ACC. Amongst other statements, he commented that there are no reasonable grounds to warrant further action. Whether or not there are reasonable grounds is a matter of opinion. For the record, Mr. Hudson strongly denies that he told you that we now have support for your case from unexpected quarters.
So,
Having met its statutory duty, there is nothing more the Commission can do to assist you. My opinion is that it is perfectly clear to me that the ACC are negligent, incompetent, selective in their duty under the Act to properly investigate cases. These facts were extracted from my personal diaries, 1998-99, which were written under considerable stress, depression, anguish, etc., and I believe to be correct to the best of my knowledge.
so hang on, that O'Connor, looks like he's
T.E.
corrupt as well.
Oh yeah, he's a crypt. He's no longer there, of course. They're all come and go.
Yeah, well, where is he now? Putting pressure on Mr. Hutchinson, the CCC guy, ACCC, to not help Mr. Horst in a CCC investigation.
ACC.
ACC. Is that the Australian Corruption Commission?
Yeah.
So Mr. T.E. O'Connor QC is now, alright, so he put pressure on Mr. Hutchinson by the looks of it.
He silenced him.
Yeah.
Silenced.
So what was his role there? What was T.E. O'Connor?
He was the chairman of the ACC.
Chairman of the ACC. Now, when citizens report corruption of politicians and judges, you see the CCC or the ACC doesn't do anything, just covers it up. And for a decade I've reported corruption as a teacher. Government officials in schools that lied in reports to destroy teachers' careers and their integrity and their name. And also reported the Supreme Court judges too, and the President of the State Administrative Tribunal, J.A. Cheney, who engaged corruption against my family and destroyed all my brother's statutory human rights. I've reported that to them. They didn't do anything. They haven't done anything. And the two Supreme Court judges, I named them, they lied in the judgment, black and white. I even wrote a quote in there, directly from the transcript, which I've got at home, of how they lied and what they did, just to said I didn't use a legal argument in my documents, and the whole lot is just a legal argument about David's statutory human rights. You see, so black and white lying, I reported, and they didn't do anything. They ignored it. They wouldn't investigate or anything. Now you can't do that, because the problem is the corruption mostly affecting society is the politicians and the judges, and they have to do. The citizen doesn't have a hope in hell, you know, and the best that they'll do to the citizen is they'll drag the citizen before the court, and the judge and the magistrate will throw the citizen in jail just for their own pleasure, pretty much. You know, we have a very serious problem with our judicial system, I believe, because the citizen has no rights in Australia. The citizen is the person that doesn't have any power. They're not in the parliament, they're not in the judiciary, but they have absolutely no rights. They have no protection, absolutely no protection from the government authorities.
Just to finish up with the ACC, this is a cartoon. Right, now let me read the cartoon. This is Richard Court.
And that's from which paper?
And there are two people robbing
the West Australian paper.
The jail. It's West Australian. It's a cartoon. Now the writing on the bottom of this cartoon states, if there is corruption in a system when nobody is around to fight it, there is no corruption.
So that means that they can just pretty much do what they want and engage in corruption.
There's nobody to investigate it.
And the citizens, well, they've got the CCC to investigate corruption, but they don't investigate corruption, do they? They don't. When citizens report corruption, they don't do anything about it. So that's. But the staff that are in there working there, their employment should be terminated for that. So the staff of these corrupt people who we've named, their employment should be terminated. Taxpayer-funded government workers, because that's all they are. Taxpayer-funded government workers being employed, paid to engage corruption and cause harm to people, actively hurt people, actively damage people, and throwing Mr. Horst in jail and then falsifying those documents while he was in jail. That's corruption. That's total corruption. So their employment should be terminated, and that's simple as that.
I like to finish. I like to finish my. I like to finish my statements here. I have a page here. Professional people who have supported me over the past 25 years. I like to read their names. Ross Anair, Consumer of Justice Advocate. Jim de Blenken, Draftsman. John Trelaw, ex-Melville Town Planner. Ross Sharland, Strata Manager. Kevin McMahon, Surveyor. Benetti, Surveyor. John Giudici, Strata Surveyor, the one who prepared my strata plan. Leela Engineering. Peter Webb, Town Planning Consultant. Bob Sullivan, Landgates. Jeff Broad, Fremantle Council. Ross Lightfoot, Liberal Party. Julie Bishop, Lawyer. Mrs. Whedon, Crown Law. Ian Luss, Local Government Inquiry. Trevor Troy, Police Report. Standing Committee on Public Administration. Kronberg, Estrada Referee. Mr. Eadie, Ombudsman's Report. John Hudson, Investigator. Joey Giuliano, former Fremantle Councillor. Ketty Ankleton, former Fremantle Councillor. Les Lauder, antique dealer, former Fremantle Councillor. David Malcolm, now Professor of Law at Notre Dame University, and many, many other people, professional people. All those people mentioned above agree there has been a serious miscarriage of justice, a travesty of justice. All those professionals surely cannot be wrong.
That's right. And
now,
those judges and those lawyers involved, did they consult any of those people in...
I'm sorry?
Before they jailed you, did they consult any of those people?
Who?
The judges involved in
Nobody.
this? They didn't consult any of Mr. Horst's supporters?
No. And Richard Utting on ABC Radio never approached any of them either. And I can name another 25. There are only 25 of the...
There are other people that supported you as well?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds.
Lots of people, yeah.
Even in, I was in St George's Terrace there the other day. Now to finish off, I would like to show this document here, or statement. This is by a very famous American, Martin Luther King. Our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. Martin Luther King. And I shall fight this till the day I die. As long as I have a drop of Dutch blood in my body, I shall fight this, and I will expose the criminals who have destroyed my life. I came to Australia to start a new life. I'm now fighting World War III because my life has been destroyed by official corruption.
My parents were Dutch, and they came after the Second World War in the 1950s, so...
I need a coffee now.
Yeah, I need one too.
How about we go upstairs and have a
thank
coffee?
you very much. So much. Actually, I'm going
Well, there is a lot
I want to
more.
give you a
I'll
hug.
tell you this.
Let me give you a hug because I think...
I can't even get up.
Oh no, he's a big man as well.
My back.
Because you're fighting, what you're doing is you're fighting for the citizens.
Well,
you're fighting for the citizens.
Well, I'm fighting not just for Jan de Horst. I'm not just fighting for Jan de Horst. I'm fighting for the community. I'm fighting for the whole of Australia.
The whole country.
I'm fighting for justice.
Yeah,
all I want is justice.
Justice.
That's all.
Justice. Real justice.
Real justice.
Real justice.
And I'm blowing the whistle now. That's the end.
Oh, awesome. Oh, you're a legend. Mr. Horst is a champion of freedom and democracy. That's what he is, a champion of freedom and democracy. For citizens, for Australian citizens, and that's the truth.
This tape I have here is the measurement of how much the building went over the strata height restriction. Now it should have come about there, the height restriction. Instead, the height restriction, or the building, finished up that height. Finally, I like to thank hundreds and hundreds of people that have supported me over the years. Many, too many to mention. I did mention 25 of them, professional people, but there are many more. And also, I like to thank Teresa. You deserve an award. I think you deserve an award for this. This is Jan de Horst blowing off. That's it.